So let us start with what are constructors. In any language, you can take Java language, you can take any object-oriented programming language, basically I should say. So in any object-oriented programming language, what are constructors, what are their types, how we can use them. So we all discuss step by step. So first of all, there are some rules of constructors that I am going to write over here, which is constructor have do constructors do not have any return type. And the second point is, which is very main point, that the constructors have same name as the class name, and there are three types. The first one is the default constructor. The second one is parameter wise constructor. The third one is the copy constructor. Every constructor have its different usage, so we will discuss step by step. Let me open a notepad. Let me open notepad and delete all this. Here what I will do is I will write a Java program to demonstrate you the example of a constructor, and you will be understanding this. So here class main, for example, and in class main what I will do is I will create a public static void main function, public static void main, and in the main we will say string args. Here what we'll do is we will create some instance variables over here, for example int role, or and the other variable is, or even say reference object is string name. Now what we will do is we will create an object of this class. How we will do that? So let me just change the name from main to student, which will be more relevant. So student, and I will come over here and write student obj. Obj is a reference object, and new keyword is used to allocate the memory, and we will write the name of our constructor, which is student. So as I told you, the constructor name is same as your class name, and we are using this brackets, which means it is a special function which do not have any return type. Now what we'll do is we will, and you will say where is the body of this constructor. So whenever we call the constructor, the compiler by default makes the body of the constructor. We don't have to make that body, so that's why we just call this function. Basically what I will do is first we will talk about the default constructor. So here as you can see, we are calling the student constructor, which will create an object in the heap memory, and that obj is referencing to that object. Now we have to assign the values to these members of the class. How will we do that? We will there are two options. Either we will say obj dot role is equal to something, or we can say string dot obj dot name is equal to something. But what if I say to you that you have to give some default value over here? By default their values are, the value of the role is 0, and the value of string is maybe null. Now if I told you have to give the default values, so what you can do is you can type over here a default constructor, which is student, and give the values. For example, role is equal to 420 or anything, for example roll number 1, and name is equal to, for example, like this. You can do this, or I will expand the screen. Now as you can see that you have created a default constructor over here in which you have created a default values. Now you can also do that in another way. How? You can also give these things over here without creating a default constructor. For example, is equal to 1, name is equal to ROHAN. But and you will ask that what then why we are creating this default constructor. Yes, there is no need to create a default constructor over here and give the default values. There is no use of this. But there is one difference here. What we are doing is we are actually initializing our variables, okay, or I should say instance variable. And here what we are doing is assigning. Why? Because the when we are doing role is equal to 1 in the student constructor, then what is happening by default, the role has taking a 0 value. If we remove this, role has a 0 value and we are overwriting that value with 1. That is called the assignment, not initialization. If we give the value over here like this, it is called the initialization. So let's come to the point why we create this default constructor. There is no use of it. We should remove it. Yes, we should remove it, but there is one use. I will tell you after later. So let me just go over here and print the values. So to check that the values are assigned or not, print, I will say obj.role. So I will save it where? In my Java programs, main.java. I will save this, go over in my D drive, sorry, F drive, and you can see there is a main source file over here. I will go here and type cmd to open the command prompt, and I will use a JavaC compiler to compile my main.java, and yet yes, it is compiled correctly. Now we will interpret this with the what was the class name? Student. So I will write over here student, and see the output is 1. It means by default we can give the values like this. Now we'll move on to the second type of constructor, which is parameterized constructor. So with the parameterized constructor, you can also give values here while creating the object. You can simply give values over here in this, for example, like 1 comma ROHAN. Okay, rather than this, like if you do this obj.role is equal to something and obj.name is equal to something, you can easily give values like this. But how? You have to create the parameterized constructor. You can go above over here, just before the public main function, write student. Always the constructor name is same as the class name, and in here you will pass two arguments. The first one is R, which means we will taking a roll number, and the second one is string S. And when you write 1 comma anything over here, it will go to this, and then we will assign these values to our members. For example, role is equal to R and name is equal to S. So if we do this, then the values are assigned to this, assigned to the members. So let me just print over here system.out.println and print obj.role, let's say. So role must be 1 because we have given 1 over here. Now I will just go over here and type JavaC main.java. It compiled, and Java interpreter will run this, and it is saying 1. Let's just change the value to something else, for example 54. So again compilation, and then the interpretation, and here 54. Now here comes the point where, let's say I have to create another object and I don't want to give any values to that object. So simply you will say you just create a new object like this, okay, and don't give values over here. As I said, the compiler will automatically defines the body. Let's check, is it doing that or not? Let me just save this and go over here, Java student, Java cmain.java. Yeah, it has given an error that is saying the variable obj is already defined in the method. Already defined. Oh, we have to change the name, obj for example 1, and save this, and let's compile this again, main.java. It is still giving an error. It is saying constructor student in class student cannot be applied to given types. Basically it is saying that if you create any type of constructor, okay, like parameterized constructor or copy constructor, the compiler says I will not create the default constructor for you if you create this. So we have to create the default constructor by ourselves if we have already created any type of constructor. So that's why it is giving an error. So I just go over here and simply type student. Now here comes the need to create the default constructor. Otherwise there is no need to write the default constructor over here, but it is a best practice to give this statement. So let me just save it, go in the command prompt, and then compile this main.java again, interpret this, and see, here's the output 54. Now move on to the third type of you can say constructor, which is a copy constructor. Now what copy constructor do and what its benefits, what is advantages to you. So let's just remove this parameterized constructor over here, or you can leave this. I just remove this system.out.println. Now say I have to create a new object with the same values I have given to the first object. What I said, for example, there is only a variable called role or simply x. What I do is just remove this. Here I say I have given a value to obj dot x is equal to something like 10, okay, and there is one more variable which is like y, and I have given obj dot y is equal to 20. Now I want you to create a new object with the same values without the copy constructor. What you will do is you will just go over here, type obj 1 dot x is equal to 10, because you can see the values over here. Or what you will do is you will write obj dot obj dot x, because you want to copy the values of obj this object to obj1. So you can do like this, but this is a very long task. If this thing like there are multiple values in the first object, then you have to write a lot of code. But simply what you can do is you can create a copy constructor, and copy constructor means you just have to pass object, a reference object in the new object, and it will copy everything, every value to this object. And you have to define the body of this. For example, you have to type the student and create an argument which take this reference object. And what is the type of this reference object? It is the student. So I will create type of student, type of reference object over here, for example O. Come over here, and then what I will do is I will say x is equal to, because we have to make the values same, so I will do x is equal to obj dot x and y is equal to obj dot y. Then I will save it and come over here down below, write system dot out dot print and print the values, for example obj1 dot x, to just check that it worked or not. So let me just save this and go to cmd, compile this. There is an error over here. It is saying cannot find the symbol ob. Okay, it's obj1 not ob1. So save this again, compile this again, it is again giving some error. That's saying cannot find symbol y is equal to obj.y. Why it is not able to find? Let's see the what is the error over here. So we have created two variables, student o. Okay, so it is not obj here, it is o over here, so we have to change this. So just save and it will work smoothly now. See, and Java, what was the name? Student. It should give us the output obj.x, which is 10. It is saying could not find or load main class student caused by java.lang.class not found exception student. Why it is giving this error? Let me just check what's the problem. What's the problem over here? Just go over here again. We will do the java c java dot main dot java, then right over here java student. Yes, here as you can see the output is here 10. So obj.1.x will be equal to the obj.x, which is 10. So let's say for example I have came over here just before printing and I've increased x, or you can say obj.x plus plus. So what will be the output now? Let's check. It must increase the value. So java c main.java and java student, it is 10. Then why it is 10? Because we have used the postfix operator. What postfix do? First it evaluates and then works on this addition. To get the result properly, we have to use the prefix. So let's see over here again, main.java. It is giving some error over here. It is saying identifier expected obj.x. We cannot use like this. Okay, let us increase is equal to x plus 1. Java c main.java. Non-static variable x cannot be referenced from a static context. System.out.print obj1.x x plus 1. Okay, not x plus 1. We must write over here obj.x plus 1, because we have to increase the value of this obj x, not the x. Now we will do the compilation now, java student, and you can see the output here is 10. Why it is 10? If we have increased this, why it is 10 now? Okay, yes, it is 10 because we are increasing the value after this object. We have to cut this, move to the top over here. Now it will give us 11. See, the output will be 11 now. Java student 11. So that's it.